Hi, I'm Dr. Francesca Zampollo, and this is a food design article review. And the article that I have for you today is Design Studies and Food Studies, Parallels and Intersections. This article was published in 2013 in the journal Design and Culture and written by Professor Victor Margolin, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, who is a leading design historian. If you are a design student or researcher, chances are you have already come across too many of his articles and books. So it was a great surprise when I found this article in which he talks about food design by drawing the connection between design studies and food studies. Dr. Margolin opens the article discussing how both food and design are two huge fields of knowledge that are both necessary and implicit in everybody's life. So he writes, it makes perfect sense to consider the complementarity between design studies and food studies, and to look seriously at what researchers in each field can learn from each other. For example, the technology designed to produce food, food packaging, food retailing, and all the considerations that go into designing the space where food products are sold. In addition, he writes, essential to the relation of design and food is the forging of mass societies as a result of the Industrial Revolution. Not only was design crucial to the new division between urban life and countryside, but it was also vital to the ways that food was transported from remote locations to the cities where it was distributed and consumed. The emerging of mass societies in the 19th centuries brought designers to address new requirements, such as transporting food in refrigerated containers and food packaging and food production for mass distribution. Among all the changes in society that the Industrial Revolution brought, food started being prepared at home less and less and bought in shops more and more. So Dr. Margolin writes, when consumers were unable to observe directly how food was prepared, they needed other assurance of quality as well as advice on why to choose one brand rather than another. So food marketing and advertising exploded. Because of mass advertising, food became embedded in people's imagination, and the food industry grew with restaurants, cookbooks, and home cooking appliances. So the author argues that there is indeed a close connection between food and design. When discussing the history of food, it is impossible not to mention the technological advancements that brought to developments like those just mentioned. When discussing the history of design, well, it is impossible not to mention the same technological advancements because they change humanity. Having established the connection between food studies and design studies, the author introduces food design as its own discipline. Food design is a relatively new activity that now has its own organization, the International Food Design Society. The society was founded in 2009 by Francesca Zampollo. That's me. And in 2013, when this article was published, there wasn't even a journal. Now we have the International Journal of Food Design, again funded by myself. I'll put a link up here to a video about the first issue. Then the author proposes and explains the 5 stages that are both in food and design systems: production, circulation and distribution, consumption, and disposal. With a look at history, the author says, I suggest that food and design can come together for the historian in studies of the transition from rural villages to urban mass societies. There could be much more work done on how the production, distribution, and consumption of food intersected with other fields such as design during this transition. And finally, with a look at the future, he says, just as the transition to mass society provided a powerful intersection for the study of food and design during that period, so can the current transition to a new society that we will experience both locally and globally offer an intersection where scholars in food studies and design studies, along with scholars in many other fields, can find common ground and together think through, in a responsible way, the issues that will help us create a life that will benefit all of us and the generations to follow. So I think that if you are interested in food design and want to learn what it is about, you should have a look at this article because it gives a very good overview of the connections between the fields of food studies and design studies. If you want to see more of these videos and much more, feel free to click on subscribe. Thank you for watching and happy food design!